Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, there is no other better place to be than here and now, honey. Hello. My name is Ayanda. You can refer to me as Ayanda, Yaya, Aya, whatever your preferences are, honey. It is absolutely fine with me. That is to you if you are new here on this channel. I do hope that you will consider subscribing and becoming part of the family. I have a whole lot of creativity to share with you. Whether we are painting, whether we are drawing, whether we are sculpting, whether we are cooking, I have every single thing when it comes to creativity. So don't be afraid to join the family by hitting that subscribe button. Speaking of family, you know yourself, don't you hide. Hello there, you're looking sexy, stunning, handsome today. Hi family. You are my regulars. Thank you so much for your guys' support. You know, I absolutely appreciate it. So, what are we doing today? That's the question of the day. Ooh, that rhymed. I could have been a rapper. Maybe not. No, definitely not. Okay, anyways, what we are doing today is we are doing something that I have not done in 8 years, using earth clay. Yes, I ran into my earth clay a couple of months ago. I store my earth clay dry because I think it's just easier to store and I don't have to worry about the storage conditions, if it's gonna dry, if it's gonna, you know what I'm saying? So I can just activate it when I want to use it. So I store it dry in small bits and pieces, which you'll get to see here in the video later on. That is. And so I was like, oh, hi, dear old friend. I'm sorry, I'm crazy. But anyways, I also got to speaking to my sculpture teacher, lecturer, actually in varsity recently. And he was complimenting me. He was like, you were so amazing in sculpture. I hoped that you would have majored in sculpture because you were absolutely great at it. Now, I must say, I was an all-round student. I was good at sculpting. I was good at painting. I was good at printmaking. I was good at everything. So really, I could have chosen anything to be my major, but I ended up choosing painting simply because I guess I chose it out of familiarity because I'm just familiar with painting. I've always painted. When I started my art business at Naya Art, I started it as a painting business. And the reason why I decided to study fine art was because I wanted to improve in painting so that I could give my clients better quality work. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think it made sense when I was choosing my major in third year at varsity to kind of choose painting. But I could do everything. And it got me thinking, you know, since I bumped into my earth clay and I was speaking to my sculpture teacher, that like, hey, can you still sculpt? That's another question of the day. So me and you are going to discover it together. Let's get going. So as I mentioned in the intro, I store my earth clay in pieces. This is actually pieces from a bigger sculpture that I built when I was in third grade. I made a sculpture of myself. I think that was the project that we were given, to make a sculpture of ourselves, and it broke. Half of it broke, and all that's left is the head. And I'm going to take those small pieces, and they are the ones that I'm going to use, simply because using smaller pieces means faster absorption of the water that I'm going to put. I'm going to put in some lukewarm water into this clay, and then I'm going to leave it to absorb all of that moisture. When it does that, it's going to become kind of like chocolate mousse, kinda, maybe a little bit more firm, a little bit more creamy and thicker than chocolate mousse. But that's basically the texture that we're going to get. And as you can see, it starts absorbing the water and breaking down into clay pretty quickly, actually. And I'm just pressing it down, making sure that every single piece is covered with the lukewarm water. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our wet clay and our dry clay. Hey, I might break my nail. This wet clay is not going to stay like this. The water will evaporate and it'll be easy for me to mold. Ding! As you can see, the clay is nice and creamy, but it is too soft for me to actually mold anything. So I'm going to leave it for about 24 hours and see what we're working with tomorrow. And maybe we'll start molding the clay tomorrow and actually making a freehand sculpture. I'm super excited. The first time I used earth clay was around about third or second year. I can't remember properly. And as I said earlier, they wanted us to make a portrait of ourselves, and we used plaster of Paris to build the beginning structure of the face to kind of help us get along. And here's the face I'm showing you right here. This is me, if you couldn't tell. I did quite a great job. I got like a distinction for that project as far as I remember. And yes, the rest of it is broken. She was wearing a head wrap as I usually do. I'm sure you've seen me on my channel. It just broke off because I didn't cook the sculpture. I didn't bake it. So clay stays quite fragile if it is not baked. My friends and I usually go on prim and proper dates. Movie premieres, car launches, high-end spa dates, weddings, lunches where we are dressed to the T. I'm talking high heels, makeup, dresses, hair is done. Well, this time I really wanted to visit my childhood and go to a place I used to go to when I was a child called Milky Lane. I'm currently having this bar one chocolate ice cream waffle thing that I usually had when I was a kid. I really loved this dessert, and for some reason the waffles are way slimmer than I remember. You know, gone are the days where we got more for less. These are not waffles, they are pancakes. I also wanted to go bowling because I haven't gone bowling in a really long time. I used to be good at bowling. And it turned out I got a little rusty, but I don't mind because I had a good time with my friend. This is me trying to annoy my friend a little bit and get her to dance with me. But all my friends, every single time I run to them dancing, they will always grab their phone and record me instead of dancing with me. And I'm talking every single friend of mine. Like, I have different friends. I go on lunches with all of them, and they will all just grab their phones and record me dancing at an event instead of joining me. I don't know why they do that, but they just do. And I'll have my shine, honey. I will not stop for nobody. So, yeah, but this is to my friends who are listening right now. Next time, just dance with me, okay? Anyways, we went bowling. We enjoyed ourselves. My friend won, and I had a really good time. For those who don't know, I grew up in the village of Eastern Cape, Stick Spray to be quite honest, Kwa makgeteng. I don't know if anybody knows makgeteng or sticks, right? If you do, shout outs. Grew up raising chickens, and this is one of the chickens that my grandmother raised. She fried it. We call this Kentucky chicken, almost like KFC. But the thing about the chickens that are raised naturally is that we call them hard body chickens because their bodies are just harder than artificially raised chickens. I don't know why, but I think artificially raised chickens are fed something that makes their bodies softer and fattier. But the chickens that are raised eating grain and like corn just grow up harder. Like their bodies are just hard. I don't know how else to explain it. So it's usually a terrible idea to fry that meat the way that my grandmother did. Because when you fry the chicken, the moisture escapes the chicken and it just ends up really, really hard, which is what happened with this chicken. My grandmother was visiting us, so she fried some chicken and yeah, it's too hard for anybody to actually consume. So what I'm doing is I'm not gonna throw away fresh chicken. I'm just going to turn it into something new, but first I'm going to be boiling it to attempt to get that moisture back into the chicken. I hope boiling it for a couple of hours will actually soften the meat. And I'm going to be adding a little bit more flavors into it because it's just not spiced the way I like my chicken spiced, you know? And I'm just creating something completely new with the chicken that I think the family and I will enjoy. And I hope you guys enjoy this cooking session.
Guess what? The very nail I was knocking on the clay with roughly, and I specifically said, I don't want to break my nail, I ended up breaking it. And I had to cut all of my nails. So sad about it. But I can't cut all my other nails as short as the one that broke because I don't like how extremely short nails look on my fingers. So I'm gonna have to file down the rest of the nails while waiting for the broken nail to catch up with the rest. Anyways, this is not a nail video. Here we are with the clay. The clay is honestly not ready for me to use right now, but it's not terrible. It's still too moist. As you can see, while I'm using it, I kind of attempt to mold it back into shape because it doesn't keep its shape. So I have to keep on pressing it back into shape, but it's not too bad. I'm hoping because I'm working outside that with the help of the wind it will lose its moisture enough for me to actually work with more efficiently as time goes by. I'm also excited to actually do this because this is my first time using the Loomis method. The Loomis method is mostly used to actually draw faces more than it's actually used to sculpt, and I stand to be corrected, but that's kind of my understanding so far. I was never taught about the Loomis method in high school when I studied visual arts, nor was I taught about the Loomis method in university when I studied fine arts further. So I discovered the Loomis method messing around, watching other artists on YouTube, and I was like, oh, there's such a thing as the Loomis method. I should give it a try. And this is my first time using it. When we drew figures, especially in university, it was kind of, hey man, figure your way out. We were taught basic ways on how to measure a figure, but we weren't necessarily taught a specific method. It was kind of like, hey, this is the 1 2 step, and you can figure out your way moving forward, however comfortable you are in measuring. And we were mostly taught how to measure using our pencil. So if you've seen me draw, you'll see me measure with whatever pen or pencil I'm using to draw at that time because that's just how I was taught. It's kind of similar to the Loomis method, but it's also very, very different from the Loomis method. So this is my first time actually using the Loomis method to do anything. And I think it's quite effective when I'm using the Loomis method to actually build this face because I'm not using any reference image. So this is completely from my head and I hope it actually works out. So let's see how this character, I should say, is going to turn out.